Yeah, so about the book Method and Mission again. Uh, so I don't consider myself a genius. Of course, I don't consider myself a genius. I know I'm not relative to other people. There are people whose IQ is much higher than mine. There are people who can do things that I struggle to do, like computations, calculations, speed of deduction. I don't know. Like, now, why am I saying that? Um, um, I'm saying this to explain how strange it is that I am I'm not hearing more people telling you what I'm about to tell you now. So, when I in the previous videos, and I've been basically pushing the idea that intentionality matters, that experience matters, that it changes reality, uh, and that there is empirical evidence for it with the double slit experiment, for example, uh, and um, and I am not hearing a lot of people trying to push that idea as well now. But the thing I'm trying to point out is how this isn't a small thing. It's a very big thing, and I think I'm saying I'm not the smartest person in the world because I'm sure a lot of people figured out already why it's so important. That I'm specifically talking about the double slit experiment and superposition, all that stuff, quantum field theory, and all that stuff. I mean, if you follow my argument, why the many worlds interpretation doesn't work, and you follow, you can check the video about that. The bottom line is that because it doesn't take experience into account and how experience is, and then you consider other solutions, such as, for example, that they offered instead of the many worlds interpretation, such as, for example, that it's a matter of probabilities, that probabilities become the atoms of reality, which is, I think, if anyone, like, you don't need to be a genius to understand that probabilities are concepts deduced from facts, not from things you can perceive uh, in wakeful physical reality. And to call these deductions atoms of existence is basically no different from magical thinking. It's saying that ideas change reality not through physicality but through ideas. So it seems to me like doesn't really go anywhere. Another solution would be to not even have a solution and just ignore it. The problem is what it's ignoring. You see, the problem with intentionality changing physical reality, and I'm not talking about intentionality causing me to raise my hand. I'm talking about the kind of changing of reality, such as you can see in the double slit experiment, where making a choice to measure or not, to read the measurement or not to read the measurement, not to measure, not to put a detector, but to read it, changes something physical. And yes, it's a small thing. It's just the interference pattern of a wave, or the dot emergence of dots on the screen in the case of when you make a measurement. But if you connect a sensor to check what's the state of the thing on the screen, dots or interference patterns, then you can connect it to something that does things, that determine things of very high importance. For example, you take the Schrodinger's cat experiment, you connect it to something that determines whether a living uh, entity, animal is dead or alive, in this case, a cat. And then you have, so this reading the measurement or not reading the measurement can kill or not kill a cat. Now, what's the problem with that? You think, okay, this is some kind of spooky thing about physical reality, but the thing that intelligent people, smarter people than me, would immediately realize, the problem here is that if I take the double slit experiment, connect it to Schrodinger's cat, and make it so that if I make a measurement, say I save Schrodinger's cat from electrocution, and if I don't read the measurement, then a cat dies. The problem is that this should be true for everyone. Like, I can make a measurement and you can decide not to. So I can live in a reality where the cat is alive, while you will live in a reality where the cat is dead. And there's no particular reason why the underlying reality should be mine or yours. And so what science tries to do, what smart people seems to want to do, is to say that's not what happens. It's not the intentionality that changes the reality. It is something else. But if it's not something else, then what happens is that you come to the conclusion that there is no single the only solution that is possible, if you don't dismiss intentionality and experience, is that there is no single we don't share a single reality. Each person exists in their own personal universe, in a physical sense, not just in how they think about it. And the problem with that is that, yes, we still live in one reality, like everything eventually reconciles, but then it's no longer a question about there is an objective reality, an objective truth that we all agree to, we all eventually cohere to. It's more like we all have offer an alternative to the reality, to physical reality, to the physicality of it. I'm not talking about concepts, I'm not talking about ideology. We all live in our own world, and then we promote our version of physical reality on others, and thereby determine, and the most persuasive of us determines what physical reality will be. And in this kind of scenario, you can change the empirical evidence to agree with your decision just by being more persuasive. So at this point, bullshitting is much more important, like in terms of persuasion and in terms of changing physical reality, determining what's true, than truth-seeking. And this is just the beginning of it, but you need to understand, smart people should have figured it out, and I believe they did. And they know what the huge monster that comes out of this, which is everything, all the ideals on which we based our society, and science, the idea of there being an objective truth that protects us from the tyranny of this and that individual, or call it what you want, that's no longer true. There is no such truth. It won't protect us because it doesn't exist physically, and we have the proof. We have like the empirical evidence to show it, and people are trying to avoid you knowing about it. But then think about, if you know this, and you're using it to your advantage, and you let everyone else still think about an objective truth, think what kind of an advantage you get over everyone else. And it's a big deal. This is a big hole in everyone's understanding of reality, as far as I can tell. And a lot of smart people probably have figured this out. And where are they?